Okay, awesome. So do you have our pre-asked questions, or do you want me to ask them?
You know what? I guess I do have those. I didn't realize I had those.
Actually, if you wouldn't mind, because we do have so many new people on our team, do you mind giving some of our new people a quick snippet of your story?
I would love to. Hi, everyone. My name is Kami Dempsey, and I am a former Black Diamond in the, with It Works. And today I am working with the corporate side of It Works. I joined in 2006. It was March, and I was a brand new mom. Landon was 9 months old, and I had never done anything like this before. Now, funny, I'd actually joined It Works 2 other times prior to this time, but really it was more out of peer pressure and pushing versus my own decision. So I want you to know, whether you're in for the first time or the third time, I believe timing is everything. And maybe you've been talking to someone that has been in, they let it go, and you just know that that they should be back on board with you. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask. I love that part of your story, Nicole, was because you reached out and just said to people, I don't know where you're at right now, but I'd love to have you get back on board with me. And I thought I love that, because that was so something I could relate to. Sorry, you guys, I'm losing my voice. My chest has been getting congested, and I got lots of water. It's probably hazardous talking too much. But so I was in It Works for about 18 months before I was able to step back from teaching. I was a middle school math teacher and a girls varsity basketball coach, and I was able to replace my income within about 18 months of doing It Works. The first 6 months, mind you, I had not signed one distributor, not one. And then through the several years thereafter, I was able to rank all the way up to ambassador, and then obviously top 10, top 5, number 1, stayed at the top for many years, made the Millionaires Club. And honestly, I just pinch myself on a regular basis because I still can't believe this is the life I get to live.
I know, it is so crazy. I tell my husband all the time that I just never in my wildest dreams imagined that we would be here, especially because we're accountants, or, I'm an accountant, and we're just like, it's crazy. It's totally crazy. So what I love about your story, what I think is so awesome, is that you did start more than once. And I think some people are like, they hear Black Diamond and they think, oh my gosh, there has to be a meaningful set. And so I think it's so awesome, that you are able to tell people that there was a slow start. I think a lot of times we hear how some people can go to, ambassador in like 2.5 seconds. And we forget that that's not everybody's story, so I think I love that.
And even if they do go ambassador in 2.5 seconds, there's going to be a season where they're catching up with the growth of their business. And so they're, success, I wish success and looked like this, but it doesn't. It looks like this, like all over the place. And I say that because whether you have a really great start in the beginning, there's still going to be a time for this and this and this and this, because any business owner understands that part of the journey. So I look back 11 and a half years in the field, and I think to myself, holy moly, I could not be any more equipped to do what I'm doing today with the company as a whole had I not had those personal experiences myself, the highs, the lows, and everything in between.
So I think that kind of brings us to our first question, which is that consistency. And I think that a lot of people, maybe we don't see success in those first 30 days or in those first 2 weeks, and maybe we're discouraged. And so I kind of wanted to know from your perspective, and having been in this business for so long, I guess, what does consistency look like, and why is it so important?
Oh gosh, I love that question. And first of all, I just want you guys to know, like, one of my favorite quotes is, success doesn't happen in a day, it happens day by day. And so, I look back when my parents first joined this industry, and they were so stinking busy, and we're all busy, right? And we all have that excuse, but they chose to devote one night a week to building an at-home business, to building a plan B, to earning an extra $500 to pay off credit card debt. So consistency to me looks like looking and deciding what are you going to devote to your business, and then consistently doing that each and every day or week or whatever that might look like for you. So for me, I was fortunate enough that because I was on sabbatical when I first heard of It Works, and I mean, not when I first heard of It Works, when I joined It Works, that third time, I was able to devote time every single day to my business. And when people ask me, someone just asked me on the last Zoom I was on, if you would do anything different, what would it be? And it would find more time to devote to my business. And so what does that look like over the last 11 and a half years? Well, I live by the daily 6 list. And if you guys haven't heard me talk about that, that is like a to-do list. That, because I believe that the first things you do in the morning is your most, I should say, the time you have in the morning is your most, is your best time. And so if you know which 6 things you need to get done for your business, ideally, if you can get those done first thing in the morning, the chances of them getting done and doing them well are going to be that much more likely. So having that plan in place and maybe looking at it a week in advance, especially for those of you that have a full-time job, you're busy with kids at home. We could have excuses as to why we, don't want to build our business or can't build our business every day. But at the end of the day, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. And, the week, we all have 7 days in a week, and we get to decide how we're going to spend that time. And at the end of the day, I truly believe you can make excuses or you can take action. And Nicole, that's what I love so much about you, is you took action.
Yeah, it was crazy, but we definitely did take action. So I think that, that consistency obviously rolls into sometimes, when we make those decisions and we take those actions, it may lead us to have to do some things that we're like, okay, this isn't fair. And so I know the leaders on our team talk a lot about this. So we were wondering, what is your take on sometimes having, when you're working your own business, sometimes having to move on from people who are just either not ready, or maybe you're just in a different place. You want to get somewhere and they're just not ready yet. Like, what do you kind of tell those people when you were, building your business and helping people get to their next level? What kind of advice and tips did you kind of tell some of your leaders as they were trying to build to leadership ranks when they had people on their team that just weren't really ready yet? How did you help people get to those levels?
Well, I think the best way you can help people get ready is to continue to cast a vision, continue to build that relationship, get in there and hear what their want, need, or hate could be, something that you could attach a why to. And when they have a why, the how takes care of itself. Now, sometimes they join in their why is like, well, I want to replace the furniture in my living room. And you're thinking to yourself, it's kind of a weak why, but we'll start with it. It's something to get started with. But then as they get in and they evolve, that why gets stronger. We're able to dig in deeper and find out what they truly want out of this business or what this business can do for them. Many of you might have joined this business for money, but at the end of the day, the why, the deep entrenched why in you has to do with the relationships or the faith in it or what, just the personal development side. And we're all different. So a couple things I told my leaders are part of this process. You can't make anybody want it. You can't make anybody want it. And why would you get mad? There's going to be several different types of people that join you with your business, but I encourage you to run with the runners, walk with the walkers, and then wave at the watchers. Now, I'm not saying kick them in the butt and tell them see you later, bye. I'm saying wave at them, be friendly, always encourage them to get on board, to come. They're more than welcome. My doors are always open. My phone is always on, and you can call me at any time, because you never know when that moment is going to hit for them where tomorrow can't look anything like today. And then all of a sudden the light bulb goes on and they're going to be a runner for you. So don't discount them or count them out completely. Just be realistic as you're setting your own goals, and don't ever put your own goals on other people. And so I know we talked about this, Nicole, where I was telling you, sometimes you have to go dig deeper in an organization to find that person that wants to be that runner for you. So for example, if I'm going diamond, I need an emerald and I need a ruby, right? And ideally, if they're on my front line, that's awesome. But what if they're not? What if they're 2 or 3 levels deep? You're looking for that person. You're constantly casting the vision to your team. And there's different kinds of visions, right? A vision might be that, for me, it was, I got to make $3,000 to $4,000 extra dollars every single month, because I don't want to go to school and raise everybody else's kids while somebody is home raising mine. So this business is going to be my ticket. You deserve to know about this. I would love to have you on this ride with me, but it's okay if your answer is no. Are you in or are you out? And And then as they joined, it was constantly like checkups of going, where are you at now? I need a ruby. I need an emerald. Is that you? It's okay if it's not, but if it's you, I'm ready to run. And I love what you said, Nicole, because the person actually went under you to find that runner, and you went, whoa, 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 whoa. I am not done yet, right? And so, I would say part of your vision casting is saying where you're going, what you want, and letting your team know that so they could be a part of that adventure with you. There are some people that are totally good, at least at this point in the game, at going, I'm on a presidential team. I am the triple diamond for this presidential team. Now for me, I wanted to be the front runner of that presidential team. But for some of us, as we're growing our belief and building our confidence, being a part of that vision of somebody else's is what helps us to grow our own confidence and belief. And so, don't ever put yours on theirs. Ask a lot of questions. Get to know your people. Find out where they are. And don't require them to do something that they don't want to do. Because I can promise you this. When I have pushed people to like a level of diamond, or I built a house of cards for them to help them achieve a position that they weren't ready to go after themselves, it either stole their confidence and made it worse, or we lost trust as a leadership unit because they felt like I wasn't looking out for their best interest. And so you really got to be good at listening to what your team wants.
I love that. And I will admit, I've definitely made that mistake myself, so I definitely learned that the hard way. So kind of like a small branch off question to that. When you were looking deep into your organization to find maybe those people that were ready, were you just asking them? Like what specifically, you're just, going basically through eSuite and just asking like, hey, are you ready? Like, were you just asking?
Couple things. Yes, I would just ask. There's been seasons where my team has been like super local, and that's been awesome, right? Because we can get together regularly. We can look at each other in the eyes. Mark always says he does a huddle because he wants to look at people in the eyes, and he can tell if they're serious, if they're ready. That is part of it. I think another part of it is looking in your back office, see who's kind of on a run, who's been sponsoring customers, who's been sponsoring distributors, reaching down and saying, what do you want? And how bad do you want it? And what will keep you from getting it? This is what I need. I think you could be it. Does that sound like that's something you're interested in? So I think looking at their activity, I think asking, and I think watching for people that are doing the right things, doing the wrap parties, showing up at events, plugging in, getting on Zooms, because you're going to want people that are doing the right behavior. Because even if they aren't sponsoring to the level that you want them sponsoring yet, but they're plugging in and doing the right behaviors, it's just a matter of time.
Right. Yes. And that's part of that consistency thing, So if you're consistently plugging in, the rest of it will sort of just fall into place.
That's
and
right.
So I'm sure or you've experienced it as we're building our business. Sometimes we have people who are in spots where maybe they're not working, or they're in a 400 box. And I think sometimes we've had people experience, they're so close to a leadership rank to diamond or double, and they're struggling to, should I place customers in this 400 box for this person who's not working? And I was always curious, maybe what is your philosophy on, I guess, maybe building people who aren't in it for your,
Okay, so here's kind of how I believe. And I want to encourage you guys to always honor your line of sponsorship, always value their opinion. They know your organization more closely and your habits of building. But in a broad sense, the other night I was hearing a woman say, I got a customer, and I heard her talking to her mentor and saying, where should I place it? And her mentor was saying, well, do you have anybody within your structure that you need for promoting that is within their first 30 days that you could get a fast start or a cab bonus? That was the first question. I love that question. And then outside of that, I'm not a big believer in placing my customers just to fill volume. I think there's other ways to skin a cat. I think, we could write a list of all the customers in that leg, and we could see how many perk points they all had, and then we could call them and tell them how they could redeem their perk points. And, when they go above and beyond the perk point value, then we get that volume added to the leg. So I think there's other ways that you can build volume besides just giving away all your customers. I choose to really use my customers to fast start bonus, to help people fast start bonus, or to keep them and do my wrap rewards, right? Because I am a party animal and I love the wrap cash. But I would say if you're going to place a customer to fill the volume, thank goodness for compression, but I really try to fill volume in other ways before I start giving away customers. More than the two.
Okay. So now so on a kind of a different tangent. So when you were in the field building your own business, what were some of your daily activities?
I would say messaging every day, adding new friends on social. I would say blitzing throughout the day, because I swear I'm barely home ever. And it's not because I'm just like a busy bee, but it's just like running my kids all over the place, going to the grocery store. And I feel like I'm the person that goes to the grocery store and misses two things and has to go right back. Sporting events and so on and so forth. Getting to events, finding events where I can set up a table and I can meet new people. I would say messaging, parties, meetups where we're doing power hours, sometimes doing that on Zoom, but I really like getting face-to-face, and then we'll Zoom anybody in who can't get face-to-face. Hi, buddy. Hi. His eyes look tired. So my income producing activities daily revolved around personal development, adding new contacts to my hundreds list, messaging people on my contact list, following up, connecting with my customers, and building new business.
Okay, awesome. So I love to party. And so the team's kind of 50-50. We have, half of us are some partiers, and the other half are mostly social media. And so I think it's a nice balance. And then sorry, just to make sure he doesn't fall. So you kind of talked a little bit about personal development. So what are some of the top, maybe one or two things that you do for your personal development? And I know personal development is just that, it's personal, but what are some of those top things for you?
Well, I think getting to events is huge. So making conference a non-negotiable, green carpet, and at least one boot camp a year. I think obviously getting to one teams and mini boot camps in your area is a must, or where you have growing teams. Now, I am a big believer in a monthly one team, one mission, because I believe we do one-on-ones, we party and launch people, team parties to one team, one missions to bigger events, always including and inviting more guests. Sorry, my phone is just blowing up. My dad keeps texting me. You wouldn't believe how much he's been trying to get a hold of me tonight. I'm like, Dad, I'm working. So personal development. But I also listen to podcasts, and I love Pastor Stephen Furtick. When I'm going anywhere, I do books on audio as well as I read books. I'm always just, an area I want to grow or get better at. I'm a big believer in writing down the characteristics of what you're looking for in that next distributor, and then looking at that list and seeing where on that list do I need to improve, because you attract who you are. Now, I'm a big preacher of work out of your strengths. Work out of your strengths, be you, because naturally everything else will get better in the process. But I think we still can always look to areas that we can get a little better.
I love that. Okay, so what is if you had to pick just one book, what would be your favorite? I know that's hard.
For who?
For personal development, your favorite book.
Okay, so I have a few different favorites. Is it my favorite leadership book? Is it my favorite it turned the light on for my ability to know what was possible? Is it for a new person?
For a new person. We'll do it for a new person.
Okay. Oh, I'm going to have a hard time narrowing it down. I love personal development.
Yeah. Because I think we have so many new people, and I think personal development is kind of one of those aspects where new people might be kind of not sure where to start. So.
Where to go, yeah. I'd say one of two regarding business, being new in the business, and I would say either Beach Money by Jordan Adler, or I would say my book, which is Retire Your Husband. And then the second part of that is when it comes to belief and really unlocking the lid, I would say Sun Stands Still by Pastor Stephen Furtick.
Cool. Okay. And then So since we're kind of on the topic of new distributors, what would your advice be, or what was your advice, to new distributors? Like when you were starting them up, what did that kind of look like?
Well, I would always want them to get launched on social, like let people know they're open for business. We'd start developing their hundreds list immediately and schedule a launch party. Like I am such a big launch party person because I know if I can get in front of their people, we're going to get wins. And I try to be at their launch parties. If I can't be, I try to Zoom in, right? Or FaceTime in, or I spend time coaching them up, and we try to diminish the formality of it and make it seem like a practice, like just have fun, be laid back, and let people know that you're just getting started. And would they be willing to would they be willing to be a guinea pig? Launch parties are a big part. I try to go blitzing with them pretty quickly so they learn how to talk about it. If I have any events on the calendar where we're setting up a booth, I invite them to be there, even if it's for an hour, because they learn how to dialogue and talk to people about the business and about the products that way. Obviously, getting them on their training academy right away is huge. I already said the hundreds list, so helping them already start messaging and inviting to a launch party, a one team, or just even letting them know that they're open for business.
Okay, awesome. So you are the party queen. You are the party queen. So I know that you kind of have like a pretty clear vision of what the parties look like. And when we were at the boot camp, I loved, kind of what you talked about. And so I was wondering if you could share with the team what your parties look like, kind of how you had them set up, what you kind of did, if you wouldn't mind sharing.
Okay. So, I'm really a big believer in keeping it simple. And I worked with Mackenzie Schultz this last weekend at the Kansas City boot camp, and she said from your pantry to the party. And we believe in like one bag, right? And just take your products that you use every day. Don't overcomplicate it. You don't have to have every product in the catalog. Have products you love. And what a great way to push you to really become a product of the product and test and sample some of the other products, right? So, I believe in having kind of 3 stations ideally in your mind, and I take in no more than 2 bags with me. Now, just so you guys know, when I get home from a wrap party, I re-prep my bag so that if somebody were to call me tomorrow and say, can you do a party for me? Even if I'm, crazy wild busy with my 3 children, I could say, yes, absolutely. Just let me run home and grab my bag, because it would be set and ready to go, from handouts to ground up fat fighters, oil ready to go, little sample of protein powder that we could sample up if we wanted to do that too. So, I really believe in having that prep. The minute you come home, you re-prep it for that next party. 3 stations. There's a welcome station, there's the place where you're going to do the party, and then there's the wrap room. All right. The welcome station has the sign in, the money jar, the wraps. I don't give them wraps unless they put their money in the jar. That way we always getting paid. I don't wait till the end, where then it gets awkward because they're like, I didn't get the results I wanted. Or they're like, oh, but I became a customer. Shouldn't this be free? Or, oh, I joined your team. So keep it separated and collect up front. Where you're having the party presentation, that could be your brag book. It would be some of the products that you have there for sampling and testing. And then your wrap room would have your fab wrap or your saran wrap. You would have your phone for before and after pictures in the wrap app. And I'm trying to think, customer and distributor forms have extra of those in there just in case, and blitz cards too, in case they think of anybody that they might want to talk to about the business. Now at the party station, also I use the lap boards that the company sells, but you can go make those for really cheap. You can go to Walmart. Don't go to like Staples where you buy the really expensive binders. Go to like Walmart or Meijer, where you just buy the cheap binders and you cut each side off with an X-Acto knife of the rings, and it just has that little pocket there. Buy them in black, green, or white or gray, and then it's a lap board. I put a customer form, a distributor form, and a product catalog in there. Now listen, if you're in the early stages of your business and you're thinking, I can't afford to give everybody a product catalog, well, that's good, because you don't have to. Put a label on it that says show copy. Show copy. And then if they want to take it home, they're going to ask you, because they're not going to want to take the show copy. And if there's someone that's interested in the business, or they take it upon themselves to say, may I take this home with me? That's when I go, oh my gosh, are you thinking about doing this as a business? Or do you want to host a wrap party for me? And then of course it's well worth the investment, right? And don't forget that the party pad is now available in a PDF. that you can email and text out. All right, my dog is doing something funny. Kanan, what are you doing? Hold on, buddy.
So we have Kami for a few more minutes. So if you guys have like one or two like side questions, you guys want to drop a few questions into the chat box, then you can ask them.
Sorry, guys, my dog was by the door, and he's enough of a puppy where when he's by the door like that, I gotta let him out. I kind of think that's the setup, and I'm just a big fan of the wrap room. Like, the wrap room is where they bare their soul, you know? It's like, oh, I hate my job, or oh, I lost my job today, and oh my gosh, I just don't know what I'm gonna do to pay my bills next week, and da-da-da-da-da, and you're like, oh, I didn't even know, but thank God you're here because I have a great business opportunity for you, right? Or after the party, you can say, what stood out to you, or what interests you, or I know you're asking a lot of questions. Have you ever thought about doing a business like this? It's just such a great way to secure the sale. Also, I want you guys to know when I'm at rep parties, whether they're launching a new distributor or whether they're all cold contacts, I'm friend requesting them all on Facebook until you max out. But then you say, follow me on Facebook, because you don't want to miss out on any promotions that we offer. And you just, like, people do what you tell them to do, and they'll get their phone out and do it right then. Because, like, I've had, especially being in this business for 11 years, people join. I have no intention of taking other people's prospects ever. But I know my commitment to this business, and I know that some of them might not be around a year from now, 2 years from now, 4 years from now. And I want to make sure that we're all connected so that I'm their wrap girl if that person is no longer available.
I love that. Our team slogan is one team, one mission, not one team, one potential.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we love that.
Mm-hmm.
We love that. Okay, so I did have, we had a few questions. So one girl asked, what was it about the third time that you joined that stuck?
It was my why. I feel like the first 2 times I got in, I was really pressured. It was really not about me. It was about the person that was wanting me to sign up. And the third time was, I was now a mom of a 9-month-old. I had been teaching for a couple years. I was doing everything I'd always wanted to do. But now I'm holding this sweet little boy in my hands, and I'm thinking I cannot go to school and raise everybody else's kids while somebody's home raising mine. And that's when I knew. So it was my why. And it didn't mean it was pretty, but it meant that I was focused, and nobody was going to stop me. Nobody. Try to stop a mom on a mission, right, ladies? But so really it was the why factor. And then that still didn't make me like an overnight success by any means, but it certainly changed my perspective.
That's awesome. So you paid for the Business Builder Kit 3 times?
3 times. $299 3 times.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that. Okay, and then someone else asked, it's a 2-part question. How important is the auto ship? And then how important are your own personal results?
Ooh, I love the auto ship question. And let me tell you why. 11 years into this, I've seen so many people lose their monthly commission check because they fell below the 150. Now, I get it. If early on in the business, you just can't swing it. I will tell you, I think that's an excuse because I couldn't afford the auto ship in the beginning either, but I made it a priority every month to sell no less than 4 wraps. So I put a box of wraps on my auto ship, and then I added greens. I used the greens for myself and to build my business, and I used the wraps to get out there and wrap at least 4 people. Folks, if you're not wrapping at least 4 people and earning $100 of wrap cash every single month, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then there's a bigger gut check, a bigger question to ask yourself. Why am I here, and what am I doing that I'm not putting the wrap on 4 people every month? Even if you're a social person, you should be selling 4 wraps every month, and best case scenario, you get that wrap on them, okay? And so even if you're working this business very part-time, that is 1 wrap party, 1, and that will pay for your auto ship. And it's an insurance policy to make sure you get paid. This is a willable and a sellable business. So heaven forbid something happens to me tomorrow. As long as I have an auto ship set up, my children will continue to reap the benefit of what I've built. Isn't that a beautiful thing? And heaven forbid you get sick, or you go into the hospital, or somebody close to you gets sick. I mean, think of all the health problems you've had, Nicole. And had you not been on auto ship, you might have missed a month to get paid because nobody is servicing your customers. Nobody is keeping an eye to make sure you get over the 150. And it's a gamble that I don't think is worth the risk. It's a tax write-off on top of that. So, what I love about a small business is you get the tax write-offs of the big business owner. And then, I believe we all should be a product of the product. That doesn't mean that we have to be like size 2s, but that does mean we need to be working on our health journey along the more healthy side of the spectrum, making better choices every day that continue to move us towards our goal of being healthier. And so these products are going to help us to do that. And in the beginning, I couldn't afford to use them. So it was just like a few at a time. I love the product credit right now, the $100 product credit that you can use on tools, gear, or product. And I can just say this, there's going to be something that's like a whole nother level for our new distributors in September.
I know we've been hearing rumors about new products and countries and like,
so just to give you guys a little bit of an expectation, products and countries are more in October.
Okay.
Just to help you. But that's why I am on a mission to make September all about parties, because if you really want to set yourself up for the best return when all these announcements are made, if you've already got parties on the books, you've already been partying and new people coming on board and partying, oh my gosh, watch out and wait to see what happens as we end out the fourth quarter.
Oh my gosh, the anticipation. So we'll do one more question, and then so we want to know when you were adding people to your network, how were you doing that? Were you just adding people randomly? Basically, how are you going about, building that network?
Oh my gosh, you guys, I tried everything. I teased that I threw everything, including the kitchen sink at this business. I did expos like crazy. And there were years I traveled all around the US doing expos. I did networking events. I looked up meetup.com. I did women's networking functions in my town. I joined the Chamber of Commerce. I've done tons of like online groups that like make sense. Right now, I just joined a Frenchie's mom group because I have 2 Frenchie bulldogs, right? And I'm a networker at heart, and I am just always networking and always trying to build this business. And now I just get to do it for you guys. But I joined a volleyball league one time. I like wanted and missed playing volleyball, so I joined a volleyball league 45 minutes from my hometown just to get around a whole new group of ladies. Small groups at church, this is a business that allows you to pursue your passions and your hobbies and just do it in ways that put you outside your comfort zone to meet new people. I love being the room mom. I love being the team mom, because that gets me everybody's contact info, whether it's through social media or through email. And every time I send a reminder about a snack or a game, guess what's at the bottom? All my contact information. And my goal is ideally to get them following me on social, because then they're seeing my life, my highlight reel, right? And all these wonderful things that I do because of it works. And so those are ways I build my network, just to kind of give you a little bit. I've done drop boxes where people put their information in. I've done salons where they let me put the drop box in, or nail salons. I've done girls' night outs at boutiques and hair salons. I mean, all those are ways to build my network. And then parties. And like I said earlier, I don't go to a party where I don't connect with them on social, even if it's just them following, because you never know what's going to happen to that distributor that you're working with. And my prayer is they're with me the whole time. But there's been too many times I went and did an expo with someone, and I didn't take one contact, not one. And guess what? That person wasn't there a month later. And it's like, who's taking care of those contacts now? So I've just wised up a lot. So now if I do an expo with someone, I'm there to work with you and help you build your business. But I'm going to, if we divide it in thirds, a third of it is mine. Even though I'm your upline, even though whatever, I'm investing in a third. I'm never going to take anything from you. We're working for the good of the group, but a third of this is for me too. And I'm also teaching my team at all times that I'm always still building new. Always. I'm supporting them, but I'm always still building new.
I love that. Okay. So I know it's late for you, and I don't want to keep you too much longer. So what is your I guess last words of wisdom for us? Do you have anything? I would say an aha moment, but I bet you, over the last 11 years probably have a lot. So yeah, could you leave us with some
I do. I have two. Number one, tickets for conference are going to go on sale in the middle of October. That means you have 2 paydays from now till then to put money aside, even if it's just from your paycheck that you're putting it aside. There's no excuses. It's a non-negotiable. Unless you're getting married, buried, or having a baby, you got to be there. Do whatever it takes. Caravan, carpool, sleep on each other's floor, put 10 to a room. It does not matter. What matters is that you're there. And if you've been to conference before, this will blow your mind. We're doing something different like we've never done before. And we aren't keeping any surprises secret. We're going to spill the beans October when we go live with the ticket sales. So that's more of a logistical thing. But here's what I know. It is September. Kids are going back to school. I don't know if your kids are back to school or not, but mine just went back last week. And now the ability to get back into a serious routine is upon me. I now have September, October, November, and December to get very focused, to be very disciplined, and to build this business each and every day, 6 lists, whatever that looks like for you, but in a very intentional way. And here's what I know, that we get another big spur going through September, October, especially with the new products and the opening of other countries that we've got helping to fan the flames. But whatever we do right now in this last quarter is going to be directly gearing up our business for the new year, which is the greatest time to build with us from January through June. So whatever you do right now, nothing will be wasted. It will actually only be compounded by the time the new year rolls around. So get serious, figure out what you can say no to so you can say yes more often to this business. You can do anything, but you can't do everything. And you, I want to read you this quote because this has been on my mind lately and I put it on my Facebook today. But you can make plans or you can make excuses. You can't make both. And it's interesting how we find a way for the things we prioritize. And so I want to encourage you to prioritize your business because you will not regret it. You'll only regret the time you don't put into your business. So if it's truly important to you, you'll find a way. If it's not, you'll find an excuse. And like, I just want you to know, I gave up volunteering at my church nursery. I gave up so many things that I didn't have to say yes to so I could say yes more to my business. And now is the time to do that. And remember, everything you do is like a seed planted. There will be a harvest. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when.
Oh my God, I love it. Kami, thank you so much. I know you are insanely busy, so I appreciate it so much. I know the team does. We waited till like very first this morning to tell them. They were so excited to see you. So thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you again.
I do too. And thank you for asking me. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.